This is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're going to do a condensed version of the 2-2-1 rib cooking method. I went ahead and I turned on the Smoke Hollow Pellet Smoker to get it to preheat, and it hasn't lit yet, but it's on and just starting to smoke. So we're going to let that go ahead and do its thing, and I'm going to head into the kitchen real quick and do that, and then I'll share some pictures with you. So I'm out of the kitchen with the rib rack here, and I'll go ahead and show that to you. Now, I didn't use any binder. What I did is that I washed it and trimmed it, removed the silver skin, and that can be a challenge when you have a piece that has a lot of the back section of the rib. But I got all of it off of the front section of the rib, which is a normal place you would find it, and I'll show you a picture of the bottom here, and you can see that there's none on the back side of those ribs. And then I took all the leftover black flag seasoning that I had, and I sprinkled it on there really nice and evenly. And I tried to make sure that I put 1 coat on the back and 2 coats on the front. So you can see here that it's well coated. Now I preheated the pellet grill here, and this is the Smoke Hollow electric pellet grill. And it's at 215 right now. We're gonna go ahead and switch out the dirty grill mat for a clean one. This is the one that I just had in there. We'll put a nice brand new one just out of the dishwasher in there and center it right over the piece of tin foil. And then I'm just gonna take this and the thick side towards the hottest spot, which is on this side here. I could use a larger grill mat for this, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to make sure that I have this positioned as best as I can on the grill mat that I have. And then we're going to let it run. I put the thermometer probe in the grill mat to make sure that I can get a good temperature reading inside the grill to verify the temperature on the control dial. I've noticed that that control dial temperature is a little off, but this way I'll know for sure where we're at. Now, I'm going to stay and watch this for 15 minutes. You don't have to do that. For you, it'll be 1 second. For me, it'll be 2 hours at 225. Be right back. So it's been just under 2 hours, and we're ready to go ahead and move on to the next stage. Now, the temperature gauge on the smoker says 250, but the actual temperature inside the smoker has been running about 225. So after the thing heats up, it goes past that and then slowly drops back down to about 25 under the setting. So you have to get used to your smoker and watch for that kind of stuff, because some smoker thermometers just set at different rates of heat. Now, we need to grab ourselves a big sheet of tin foil here that's large enough to wrap the rack of ribs well. I prepared the ribs inside this cookie sheet, so this is a good barometer for our size. This needs to hang out about 6 inches off of each end. Just right about there. There's just a touch of water in the bottom of this pan, and that will let the tin foil stick to it. I'm going to make sure that I put this in there with the bones down and the top up like that. I don't want to upset any of the coating. Then I'm going to wrap it nice and tight right across the top. Open that up just a little bit. Across there. So we kind of have a little lip there to grab. I'm going to squeeze it and then roll it over a couple of times. Then I'll pull that up. Then I'll pull this up. All right, this small one, I'm going to go ahead and close that one. Then I have a bottle of apple juice here. This is a small bottle. It's 8 ounces, which is perfect. It's 1 cup. If you prefer something else, like let's say, I don't know, a beer, you could put about 1 cup of beer in there. But this is basically just for moisture. Also, sometimes I like to mix it half and half with barbecue sauce. Also a really nice addition, especially if you're going to add the barbecue sauce at the end. And then still only about 1 cup of liquid. So if you're going to add barbecue sauce, then you only want a half a cup of the apple juice. And I'm going to close this, and I'm just going to roll it closed. We're trying to seal it up tight, but we're not trying to put a lot of pressure on the ribs. And we do want to keep the probe in here so we can monitor the temperature. And then I'm going to hold this carefully and set it down there real nice and easy. The ribs are really soft, and so they're going to be flimsy. I'll just set that right back in where it came from, and just avoid setting it on the probe, keeping it on the grill mat. It will probably stick, but we don't want to move it around if we don't have to. So we'll close this down, and then I'm going to raise the temperature by another 25 degrees. So the target temperature in here is going to be about 250 now, where we were at 225. Each step in my process, I go up 25 degrees. So this process is 2 hours at 225, then 2 hours at 250, and then 1 hour at 275. And then if you're not happy with the outside consistency, you could throw it on a propane grill or put it under your broiler, or even just turn up your pellet grill up to its highest setting. That won't be as hot enough to char it, but it'll give it a nice crunchier consistency on the surface. But we'll come back to that later. So we're gonna go ahead and let this run. That'll be 2 hours for me, but 1 second for you. So before I turned on the camera, I went ahead and I checked the pellets and I refilled them. I don't like to leave any extra pellets in the smoker because of the humidity from the creek, and I had a problem with them getting wet, jamming up my Traeger. So I just make a real extra effort to not leave anything in there. Now, it makes it a little bit harder to start the Smoke Hollow because it has such a large auger, but on the other hand, at least I know that there's not pellets getting wet in there. Now, I just keep checking it every 30 minutes and making sure that I don't run out. But if you wanted to fill it all the way up at the beginning of your smoke and run it through, that would be just fine. I'm just a little more cautious than that, and that's just me overthinking it. But I'm using Pecan Barbecue Delight, and I just buy this right off of Amazon. Of course, you can buy whatever you want. I've done some tests, and the pellets are really so similar. As long as you have a really good quality dry pellet, you won't have a problem. Don't buy generic store brand. Buy yourself something like either a Traeger or a Pit Boss or like this brand here. And they make a lot of different brands, and there's a couple of packages of assorted ones. And if I think about it, I'll try to remember to put that link in my affiliate links below. But this is what I use when in doubt. Get the pecan out. Works for any food. But I was using apple for the pork also, which is a good choice. And something like hickory is a really good choice for beef. That barbecue blend from Smokehouse Products, also a really good flavor that I just used a bag of. So here we are. And gonna pull this out of my way really quick. I'm gonna grab this and just put it right up on here. Oh, we're sticking. Went ahead and just pulled the whole thing out because I don't want to leave the door open there. And the foil has stuck to the grill mat, which is not unusual. That happens. But if you just give it a little pull, then you can just get it right off there just like that. And then I can toss the grill mat back inside. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And when we open that up, we are going to have a load of juice in there. And I'm going to lift this up so you can get a better look at it here. The juice will, of course, move away from you, but it's in there. And if you want to save it for something to use with some of your other cooking, you can do that. I really don't. I find that a lot of the spices will get in there more than I want. And then, of course, there'll be a lot of oil from the ribs. Now I'm going to do this and set this right up here on the edge so we can get a nice quick transfer. And it is hot. Also, it's really soft. It's cooked. I'm going to show you this, and I can just pull the bone right out of there. Little piece here and close the lid. That's good. I want to get this up to 275 as soon as possible. There's lots of pullback on the bones there, and it tastes great. We just want it to dry up a little bit. Otherwise, it'll just have that mushy consistency, and that's not my favorite thing. I like it a little firmer than that. It'll be another hour for me. That'll just be 1 second for you. It's been a little bit more than a half an hour, so I checked these, and they look like they're ready for their sauce. Now, normally I would go for about an hour, but I think what's happened is that when I adjusted the temperature up, I went a little bit over the temperature, and of course it's going to need time to come down, but we're cooking, so that's all that matters. Now I'm going to rip this little piece off here, and I'm just going to show it to you. Look at that. Oh, that's yummy. I already sampled it. So I used the Black Flag seasoning, and now I'm going to use the Black Flag barbecue sauce. I'm out of the seasoning, but I still have a half a bottle of sauce left. Do the bottom first, and when I flipped it, I went ahead and put it on a piece of parchment paper because I think that's the easiest way to keep it from sticking to the grill, and we still get all that good smoke flavor. Of course, you don't want to do that on a propane grill or a charcoal grill, but on a pellet grill, it works out really well. I don't know how well you can see that, but man, that looks really good. And I'm going to just pinch another little piece off the corner here. When the owner of the Black Flag seasoning recommended the garlic flavored barbecue sauce, he was on point. That is great. We're going to go ahead and let this set up. That's going to be about a half an hour. I am going to go ahead and lower the temperature down by 25 degrees because it shot past where I wanted it to be. So it'll be another 30 minutes for me. That'll be 1 second for you. All right, let's take a look. Okay, that has some really good color to it. Gonna just slide this whole thing right on out of here. My favorite thing about the grill mat is look how clean that is. Now it's not perfect. It'll still need to be, you know, brushed down, but that is great. I'm gonna check this. Got a couple handfuls of pellets in there, so I'm gonna turn it up and run it on full power for a while. I don't want all that left over. Now, take a little piece here. Be real careful when I'm cutting on the grill mat here. I don't want to actually cut the grill mat. Actually cut pretty good. These knives are about due for a sharpening. These are my Victorinox knife. This is the straight boning knife, and I have the curved boning knife. But my favorite of all is the meat slicing knife. I just love to slice a ham with that thing. And I use it for brisket too, of course. You've seen it in some of my other videos. Gonna hold this up here so you can take a look at it. And let's eat it. That tastes amazing. Might put just a touch more barbecue sauce on, but not to actually cook. But if you served it just like this, everybody would be happy. That is great. It's a little softer than I normally make my food, but most people will think it's perfect. So I like mine a little firmer, and that's one of the reasons I like chuck roast over some of the other choices. But this is great, and I'm gonna say that this Black Flag is really, really good stuff. And I think that this is probably the best it's turned out so far. I think that the pork goes really well with it, and the garlic just goes along with the pork really good. I also used some on a pork roast the other day, and it turned out really good too. Well, thanks for watching. The link for the Black Flag will be in the first line of the description below. Below that will be my affiliate links, so if you use one of those, I'll get compensated, so thank you. Have a great day and enjoy your smoker and your barbecue.